It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live stream Q&A. I just noticed that I didn't put up the chat, so let me do that quick. As always, if there's any issues with the chat or the live stream, any lag or anything like that, let me know. There we go. So I see a few people are already on the chat. By the way, we are starting a little earlier than usual. Usually we go live like an hour later than right now, but I just went live a little earlier because I do have some other stuff that I want to get done. So that's why we were a little early. I can't even talk today. A little earlier tonight, but I am expecting to go the usual, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. All right, so Animated Alex is on the chat. Hello, Ash. How are you? Animated Alex, glad you could join. Do you think Rick will come back in the last ever episode of The Walking Dead? That's an interesting question. Yes and no. I think he will come back to or in some capacity, but I don't think he'll come back to the main storyline. I think that realistically, Rick coming back is most likely going to look like a scene where it's either a flashback or some sort of either a hallucination or something like a farewell kind of thing. I don't think that he's going to come back into the main story arc at the very end because it just doesn't quite work. But I do think that he will come back to a capacity. Now, with that said, the only way for him to come back, actually no, it would get really complicated because of the Commonwealth story and how it is, and the movies as well. Because we don't know whether we're going to see the movie before season 11 ends, you know what I mean? So there's going to be a little bit of kind of shifting around that needs to happen if they want to bring him back into the main storyline. So because of that, I'm leaning more towards a possibly, but it'll be outside of the main storyline, like in a flashback or a hallucination or a farewell of some sort. Animated Alex, is Elizabeth the leader of the CRM? She's one of the lieutenant colonels, obviously, but I don't think she's the leader of CRM. I think she's just one of the leading forces behind the military of the CR. But I don't think that she's the actual leader of the community or of the CRM. Because let's not forget, CRM is not an actual community. CR is, but CRM is just the military part or the military component, you could say, of the CRM, or the CR, I mean. Animated Alex, also because Andrew Lincoln said he regrets leaving. Yeah, I remember him saying that in one of the trivia things that they had. I think that's just... I think the reason he said that is not set up, but what's the word I'm looking for? Hype fans for the movie. Because it's like, yeah, I regret leaving, but you can watch me in the movies, you know, something like that. So I think that's the reason why he said that. Do I think that he actually regrets leaving? Yes and no. I think he regrets leaving for this long. I think if it was in fact his own decision to leave, maybe he's okay with coming back now. But obviously he can't because he's in the movie. But I think the reason why he said that in that interview is because he wanted to start the talk about Rick again and kind of hype us for the movie. Get us hyped for the movie. That's how I should have said it. Anyway, Animated Alex, because it would suck if the show ends with the communities never knowing Rick is alive. That's the other part of it. I think they will know, but I think that's where it connects to the movie and the fourth spinoff. I think that the show is going to end with everyone knowing that Rick is alive. Most likely a portion of them are going to go looking for Rick based on some clue that they found. which is going to take them to the fourth spin-off. Some may even find themselves in some capacity with Rick at the end. And here's where it kind of gets interesting. They could also do something along the lines of have Rick come back in the final episode, but not be in the story. And what I mean by that is that we could get some glimpses of Rick's life in the CR. And obviously they can't show much because we don't know, again, how much they're going to have to, or how much they would have shown in the movie. We don't know if it's going to be before or after the movie, so it gets complicated. But I think we could get a glimpse of Rick from the, or in the final episode. And we might even see a thing where maybe Michonne in the final episode finds something related to Rick or something like that. So they could play it off in very different ways depending on where they want to go with the story. Jose Hernandez, will we meet Lance Hornsby in episode 20? Episode 20. Oh yeah, that's season 10, episode 20, which is called, what was it called? Splinter is the episode we're going to pick up with Eugene and the group being surrounded. No, I don't think we're going to meet Lance in that episode. I think that we're most likely not even going to see any prominent Commonwealth characters in that episode. Just some Commonwealth soldiers. I do think, though, that we are going to hear Stephanie on the radio again. And I did talk about that more in one of the last videos that I did. But I don't think that we're actually going to see anyone from the Commonwealth in that episode. Especially big characters like Lance, like Pamela, like Stephanie, like, what was the other guy's name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The big dude. Mercer. I don't think we're going to see those characters. But from all of those, I think Mercer is more likely to show up than others. You know what I mean? But I don't think that we're going to see them. Animated Alex, what if Virginia and her group died by the CRM the same way Virginia and the Rangers killed Logan's people? It could happen. It could. But then again, we get into the conversation where what's next? Does that, if something like that happens, it would have to either lead into the movies or the CRM have to be dealt with. You know what I mean? So I think for the purposes of the movie and everything surrounding it, if they were to do something like that, that would mean they would have to connect it to the movie to some extent. If not, then it would be pointless, I think. Animated Alex, I think it was realistic for Michonne to not automatically assume Rick is alive. Yeah, I mean, and you mean Michonne's last episode, right? Yeah, that makes sense. But what I mean is that, like, what I mentioned about Michonne is that we could see Michonne, maybe, we could even see something like what happened to Michonne after we saw her in the last episode that she was in. And that could possibly end with some kind of hopeful message or even a very clear clue that Rick is alive. And it would be Michonne finding this. And that would be how, like, the series would end. Something like that. And they could even connect that to Rick in a way. Where then we might see something with Rick. Like, we might see Rick again. And he might do something which would go back to the clue that Michonne found. I'm a little cryptic here because I'm being very general. Like, I don't have an actual idea. I'm just thinking about how it could go down. If they do something like that, then yes, we would see Michonne again in the final episode. It would kind of give us a hope that Michonne did find Rick or a big clue about Rick's location. And then we would obviously see Rick again and a tease or a glimpse at what Rick is doing at the CR. It could even be like an after credit scene. Think about it. Like, the regular series could just end with something like, let's say, just like the comics, it's, let's say, Judith. And she's telling like some sort of a story, assuming that there's gonna be some sort of a time jump. And again, I don't think we're gonna see that big of a time jump in the show, especially because of the fourth spin-off. It just wouldn't make sense. But imagine it ending with Judith, maybe a little bit of an older Judith, but not that much older, telling a story to RJ about his or their father, something like that. And then that's how the series ends. And then in the after credits, we see like what I talked about with Michonne and Rick and all of that. I think that would be a very awesome way to wrap things up in the last episode of the series. And then obviously before that, they would need to set up something with everyone else as far as the fourth spinoff is concerned. Animated Alex, that would also imply that Virginia might have worked for the CRM. Yeah, I see what you mean by that, because Logan kind of knew about Virginia's group. I see what you mean by that. But then again, like I said, if they do that, then you would have to connect to the movie, because otherwise it would be pointless to an extent. Animated Alex, I hope we get a spin-off show with adult Judith after the show ends. We might see that, but it'll be down the line. Way down the line. Maybe after the fourth spin-off gets like a season or two, something like that. More than that, like 2 or 3 seasons or something. But yeah, I could see something like that in the far future. Animated Alex, do you think we could get an animated series of The Walking Dead that's canon to the show? I do think we are gonna see animated series down the line, because it was Gimple who teased at that, but or said they were thinking about it. But I don't think that, if by that you mean they're gonna do the show again, but in an animated series, I don't think we're gonna see that. But I do think that we are gonna see something animated for The Walking Dead down the line. Jose Hernandez, will Maggie have a new love interest in the comics? Yes and no. I do think she will, but I don't think it'll be as much of a focus as it was in the comics, because it doesn't need to be. Like, there's no reason for them to do that story the way they did it in the comics. They could definitely change it up a little bit. But I do think we are going to see something with Maggie and a potential love interest coming up. Masked Ninja, if the CRM are going to be in season 11, how will they get introduced to the group? So if they are, and that's a big assumption, but if they do show up in the last season, I would think that they would want to make an alliance with them, just like they did with Omaha, something like that. If they wanted to destroy them, they would have done it long ago, because they know about them. We know that because they've been watching their move even before Rick was taken. So we know that they know that these communities exist. It's just they're so small that it's not in their radar, or they don't care about them as much. But I think, to answer your question, if they're going to show up in season 11, and that's a big assumption again, but if they show up, I think it would make the most sense if they want to make an alliance with them, just like they did with Omaha and Portland. Masked Ninja, what I mean is, how will they get discovered? Like, if they don't voluntarily come to the group, how would they get discovered? I would say there's 2 ways they could go with it. One is, at this point, less likely or less realistic, you could say. The first way, which is more likely, is that maybe they see them again, like a helicopter comes in, or they see some sign of them or something, or Negan or Father Gabriel, who has seen the CRM helicopter, starts talking about it. But that's less realistic because it's been so long. They would have said something by now if they knew that he was important or something. So I think the first way I said is more likely. Masked Ninja. Oh, I read that one. Animated Alex. Do you think we'll see Maggie get a little physical with Negan? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a need for it. I don't think there is a need for that. I do think that she's going to be pissed at Negan and she's going to confront him, but I don't think he'll get physical. And like I said in one of the last videos I did, I think that they'll be interrupted by a threat, maybe whispers around. And they would have to cut the bullshit, you could say, and work together to defeat the little threat that they have around, and then talk about their differences later. So I think we'll see something along those lines. Animated Alex. Oh, I read that one. Why do I keep... I just keep looking at the last comment for some reason. That was the last comment though. No new comments. There's 5 people on the chat, which is great. Only 2 people asking questions though. I'm just saying. On the stream I meant, like 5 people on the stream. Animated Alex, do you think we could see some random CRM soldier in the main show? Yes, I think we could, if they wanted to, if they want to connect the show to the movie a little bit more. There's no need for them to do that, but they could if they wanted to. But then again, why would a random CRM soldier be there? You know? So it gets tricky. Animated Alex, do you think World Beyond will end? World Beyond will end. Yeah, it's gonna end after season 2. There's only 2 seasons. I don't think it'll end earlier than that. I think they are gonna do a second season. But I don't think they're gonna do more, and I don't think they're gonna do less than 2 seasons. Animated Alex, how do you think it will end? World Beyond. That's a tricky one. World Beyond is one that is weird because it definitely seems like the writers are going to have to change their original plan for it. It definitely seems like they wanted to do more seasons, but because of the lack of interest and the ratings, they decided to stick with just 2 seasons, which means that they're almost definitely going to have to connect the story in World Beyond to the CRM and to the movies a lot more than they wanted to do originally. And because of that, it gets a little tricky because we don't know how much, or we don't know whether it's gonna link directly to the movie or what's gonna happen there. But in terms of what I think we'll see at this point, I think that World Beyond second season is most likely gonna end with us getting to see inside the CR. Maybe Hope. Maybe it'll be Hope who, maybe with others, goes to the CR. And they set up something like others, like Huck and maybe others, are planning to come save them. Or something like that. But we'll see inside the CR for the very first time. And maybe for like a couple minutes of the last episode, we will be inside the community. And that's how it'll end, I think. And they could, if they want, to give us some Rick cameo in that moment. Just a small cameo or something. But I think that could obviously change if they're going to go a different direction with World Beyond. Because right now I'm assuming it'll link to the movies directly. Animated Alex, off topic, but is that a printer behind you? Yes, it is. I've been meaning to get like a cabinet, because right now it's just on a stool. I've been meaning to get not a stool, but like a, what do you call those, table? Like a table thing. But it's not a cabinet. So I've been meaning to get like a cabinet from IKEA for a long time. But I've just been procrastinating, so it's been sitting here. It still has to sit here, but I've been meaning to get a cabinet for it. It's not great positioning for it, especially for videos, but I don't have any other place to put it in the office. Animated Alex, what if there were zombie dinosaurs? LOL. I think you just kind of described Godzilla. I'm just kidding. That, to me, Godzilla, or is it Godzilla? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just dinosaur on steroids. So, kind of like that. But anyway, yeah. That was not related to your question at all, but yeah. Zombie dinosaurs would be pretty interesting. Does that mean they're only gonna eat dinosaurs, or are they gonna attack people? I assume they would attack people too, because zombies go after animals too. Anyway, I don't know why I expanded on your question. Mask Ninja, what would you say the CRM are? The Resident Evil Umbrella Corporation of the Walking Dead. I don't know about Resident Evil, but I think you could compare them to Fireflies from The Last of Us, something like that. But they are definitely like a large corporation, or large, not corporation, but a large organization at the center of the universe, for sure. Animated Alex, I mean, it would raise ratings, LOL. Yeah, that would definitely raise ratings. Maybe a spin-off idea. Animated Alex, I think the CRM are just the Fireflies. Yeah, I agree. They are the Walking Dead's representation of the Fireflies. Let's just say that. No more questions for now. We've been going for, let's see, 30 minutes, so maybe another 15 minutes or so. And then that'll be the end of the stream. Animated Alex, I hope we see a Herschel Jr. interaction. With who? Yeah, I hope we see something with him, but I think we'll definitely see something with him and Judith. We'll definitely see something with him and Daryl. We'll definitely see something, maybe, not definitely, maybe with him and Negan. Jose Hernandez, who could get Dwight and Rick's death in the show? I don't think we need those two deaths. Honestly, based on where the story is and where the TV universe is, I don't think we need those stories. But if they give it to someone, but only as like a death, not a storyline, if that makes sense, I could say, let me think. I could say Alden is alive, right? Alden could get Dwight's death, and again, just as a death, not as a storyline that comes with it. And Rick, I would say that gets a little tricky. If they want to give it to someone, maybe at this point, I've heard people say Negan. I don't think that's going to work. But it can't be Daryl and Carol because they're obviously going to the spinoff. I don't think it'll be Maggie. But if they want to do a big death like that, representation of it in the show, maybe Maggie. Ezekiel would be an underwhelming remix. But again, I don't think we need it. That's the thing. I don't think Rick's death specifically. Dwight's, like I said, they could give it to someone as just a death. But Rick's death is more tricky because we definitely don't need it given where we are right now. Masked Ninja, when do you think Daryl will find out Rick Grimes possibly being still alive? Probably in the final episode, or the last few episodes, let's say. And I think that that's the thing that's gonna push the story towards the fourth spinoff. Animated Alex with Negan. Oh, I'm assuming you mean will we see a Herschel Jr. interaction with Negan? I think I said that, but possibly. If not in the bonus episodes of 10, then definitely in season 11. Animated Alex, remember when Fear the Walking Dead wasn't a Morgan spinoff? Yes, I remember those days. Let me see. I just want to pronounce this name right, so let me get closer. Ayush Sharma. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Do you think Al would kill Sherry? Read somewhere that it can happen. Al Sherry. If Sherry turns out to be a bad character or a kind of bad guy or girl down the line, and if she poses a threat to the group, I could see Al, if she's in the position of killing her. And I could see that creating tension between Al and Dwight, who are, I would say, friends, very good friends. So if they want to go that storyline, they could. And I think it would be interesting, given what I said about Al, Dwight, Sherry, and all of that. Do they need it? Probably not. Is it a risk? Yes, because why bring Sherry back just to kill her? You know? Jose Hernandez, do you think Kirkman will bring the comic back as a spin-off in the future? I think it's possible, yes. I think it's possible that down the line, maybe in a few years, we are going to have a spin-off starting the story at the Commonwealth, where the story ended. And it'll be the start of a new chapter in the story in a way. Animated Alex, what if the walkers actually did evolve? Um, I'm. I don't think that would kind of work in the Walking Dead universe, but in general, what can they really evolve to do? Talk? That's a slippery slope in a way, because you move away more. You move away from the realistic storyline that we've had so far. Let's just say that. And honestly, I wouldn't personally be interested in a storyline like that. Ayush Sharma, you got the name right, man. Cheers. Great. Awesome. Mask Ninja, do you think we could see Dwight in Here's Negan episode? Yes and no. I think there's a chance that he could show up because he was obviously in the comic Here's Negan. But because of the delays and the fact that Dwight is in Fear and Fear needs to finish stuff, film stuff I mean, it gets a little tricky, so I could see him not being available to film. If he was available, I could see them bringing him back in there. But because of Fear and the delays and everything, I think that they're probably not going to be able to do it. I don't think they have the luxury of his availability, you could say, at this point. I think it's more likely that someone like Simon will replace him and will take on his story from Here's Negan in the TV universe. Animated Alex, do you think there is a Russian base somewhere, considering there was a Russian satellite in The Walking Dead? I think the satellite was there before the apocalypse and it just fell. I don't think that it was a functional satellite. I could be wrong, but in terms of a base, maybe, but unlikely, but maybe. Mask Ninja, Stephen Ogg already said he's not filming in Here's Negan. Oh, did he? Okay, if that's the case, then either they will bring Dwight, or I think what's more likely is that the storyline won't look the same. Because in the table read, it looks like they're not gonna really focus on Negan joining the Saviors in Here's Negan. It looks like it'll be more focused towards Negan and Lucille's survival. So I think they might just remix that storyline completely. So even though we're getting a Here's Negan, it'll probably look very different than how it looked in the comic version. And there's also a possibility that I don't want to say he may have lied, but he may not have wanted to spill the beans about his involvement to keep it a secret. That could also be possible as well. All right, so we've been going for 40 minutes, so 5 minutes of rapid fire Q&A, and that'll be where we end the stream. I ordered some comic collection bins, like one of those bins that they have for comics. It looks like it may have arrived. So I'll probably be busy in the next hour or so after the stream, kind of transferring all of my comic issues into that bin. Because right now it's just in a regular box, and it's a nightmare dealing with it that way. Animated Alex, do you think Stephen Ogg is a busy boy, or wait? Also, Stephen Ogg's a busy boy, so it's okay if he doesn't show up. Yeah, I know he's had a lot of things coming up last year, like a project. So yeah, he's definitely a busy man. Even Andrew Lincoln, he did like a movie when he wasn't doing Walking Dead. So it's not like there's nothing for people to do when they leave, right? So I'm sure they have other priorities as well. Ayush Sharma, do you think the comedy spin-off would be a success now, like after 10 years of The Walking Dead? 10 plus years. Honestly, I'm a little nervous about the comedy Walking Dead because it's either going to be a complete success or a complete failure. Like, I could very well see it being compared to other similar concepts for a story. Like, what was that one? What was that? Let me just check. What was it? Zombieland? Was that what it's called? Yes, like Zombieland, or stories or movies or TVs or whatever that's close to that. So that's a different kind of beast on its own. You know what I mean? So I could see it being compared to that, and because of that, I could see it not being well received because comparing it to like some of the classic horror comedies, it's just not good, you know? Or it could be a complete failure as well, like trying to be very serious as a Walking Dead thing, but having some stuff that's comedy to make it be a comedy, and then it just doesn't work. Or it could just be great, you know? Animated Alex, I'm gonna go early, Ash. See ya. Thank you very much for joining, Animated Alex, and everyone else. We're gonna end the stream soon as well. Probably like 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I think I said 5 minutes like 5 minutes ago, but this time 5 minutes rapid fire Q&A, and we'll end the stream. Before you leave, make sure to smash the like if you haven't. If you enjoyed it, on your way out, just smash the like. Ayush Sharma, yes, those ones. Oh yeah, the Zombieland and things like that. Yeah. Ayush Sharma, let's hope we get something good in the coming years. And thanks for the stream, man. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I'm glad you enjoy what we're doing on the channel. And since you're a new face on the chat, which is great, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing and press the bell on the bottom right to get notifications when we upload on the channel. And our Friday night streams is usually every Friday night at 6 p.m. Mountain, which is, let me see. Yeah, 6 p.m. Mountain time, which is like now. So tonight we started an hour earlier, but usually this time is when we go live every Friday night. And also for anyone on the chat, make sure to smash the like button on your way out. Alright, I don't think there's anyone else on the chat that was asking any questions. So I'll give it another maybe 30 seconds and we'll end the stream. But thanks everyone for joining and asking questions. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And in terms of what's coming up on the channel, we're pretty much going to be doing the schedule. And on the schedule we have Sunday night, Better Call Saul reactions. Not Sunday night, Sundays. On Sundays, Better Call Saul reactions. I think I'm on episode 4 now or something. So we're doing that. I think every Tuesday, every 2 weeks. We're doing The Boys. We were doing it every week, but I had to rethink about that because it wasn't getting a lot of attention. But I didn't want to completely stop it. So we're going to be doing that every 2 weeks, every Tuesday. And then every Thursday, we're going to continue with Money Heist Reactions, which is a Spanish show on Netflix. For those of you who have been following, we're getting to the juicy stuff in that series. So we're doing that, and that's pretty much what we're going to be doing for the next little while until Walking Dead is back. When Walking Dead is back, I'm going to rethink about the schedule in a way that makes sense. We're going to do more Walking Dead, obviously, at that point. But I don't want to completely stop the other reactions or the other things that we're doing. So it may shift around a little bit, but we're still going to do some of the stuff we're doing now, or most of it. Also, I don't know when they're going to do Last of Us on HBO, like when that's going to come out. But when that's out, we'll be all over it. And it won't just be reactions. We're going to follow the same recipe for that as we do for Walking Dead. So we're going to do discussion videos on it. We're going to do breakdowns on it. We're going to do predictions. We're going to do all of that for Last of Us. We're going to do a lot of comparisons as well because obviously it's a game. So just like the Walking Dead where we have a comic to go with, in that case we have a game to go with. So it's fun that way because we can go back and forth between them and kind of break it down even more. So that'll be coming up whenever it does. We'll be all over it on the channel, like I said. But that's pretty much it for everything we're going to do on the channel and coming up. So that's pretty much everything I had to say on my end. Let me see if there's any chat questions. Ayush Sharma, done. We'll catch the next one or in the next week. Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to see new faces on the chat. And it's always a lot better when the chat is engaging or there's a lot of engagement and people are there asking questions. It's more fun that way for both you and me. So yeah, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I'll catch you in the next one.